What is up, guys? It is DMJ here, and today we're going to be going over the best and the worst players of FIFA 18. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, so I want to know what you guys, have your opinions on for certain players, who your least favorite players, who your favorite players are of FIFA 18. And I think for Saturday or Sunday, I believe EA are releasing some like live stuff for FIFA 19. So I'll either stream that live or I'll just, watch it, record it, and make a video over it. So it'll be one or the other, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, with FIFA 18 kind of winding down, I wanted to make a video sort of like this, like we have done in the past as well, with our favorite and least favorite players of FIFA 18. Now, I did want to start out with the worst players just because I wanted to end up on a positive note, basically. So we're going to start off with the worst and then end up with the favorite players. So starting off with the worst players, we do have Oblak, Varane, Sule, Godin, Felipe Luis, then we have Dembele, Dybala, Vidal, Team of the Season, Fabinho, Muller, and Immobile. And for the best players, I actually have some honorable mentions as well, and I didn't really want to do that for the worst players because, again, I did want to keep it fairly positive, but I do actually have Donnarumma on the bench, and I'll explain why once we are done kind of explaining Oblak's situation. So, actually, initially, I did have Donnarumma in there as the worst goalkeeper, in my opinion, because he has the worst handling of any goalkeeper, literally, of any FIFA, not just FIFA 18, but any shot that would come at him, he would parry perfectly into the path of an attacker, more than any other goalkeeper. In fact, more than any other goalkeeper in FIFA 18 combined, and I'm not exaggerating with that. So the fact that he would do that, I would give up so many goals, and that, obviously frustrate me, right? Because, I was giving up dumb goals that should be easy saves. But Donnarumma occasionally would also make good 1v1 saves. So I couldn't really put him as the worst goalkeeper, especially when Team of Season Oblak is there, because, he would parry goals in the path of the attackers more often, but, not as much as Donnarumma. But he also would not make saves. Anything that would come at him, it would literally go in the back of the net. Honest to God, besides easy shots that would come literally right at him, I honestly God do not remember a time he made a save. I don't remember a time he dove and made a save ever. And that obviously that's the most frustrating thing, is when your goalkeeper doesn't make a save, right? When you do everything right, they shoot a long shot and it's should be savable, but because your goalkeeper's 6'2", and it feels like he's smaller than that, he doesn't make a save, unfortunately. Godin and Felipe Luis, probably the worst, center back, left back duo in history, right? Anyone coming down that side of the field would literally just have a walk in the park. They'd just be walking down with the ball, and Felipe Luis and Godin would literally have no idea what to do, unfortunately for me. And, Godin, with medium-high work rates, seemed like he didn't want to run back. Felipe Luis would want to play left mid, and again, with medium-high work rates, it seemed weird that he didn't want to run back. It seemed like he had medium-low or something like that. Same thing for Varane, actually. I remember I was playing Varane and Godin together. They both had medium-high. I thought they would be good together, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. They'd be pressed up really high, and if someone got behind them, they would not run back for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. And then finally, the last defender was Team Season Sule, and he would make good tackles. He could get headers because he's 6'5", but that agility and balance really was not good. And along with that pace. 72 pace isn't bad, but when there's that huge discrepancy between 56 acceleration and 84 sprint speed, that's not good. Because what would happen was, obviously attackers are usually quick, they're usually fast. What would happen is an attacker would get past Sule, and obviously Sule couldn't, react fast enough because of that 56 acceleration, but he would be able to maintain the distance. But obviously, because of that low acceleration, the attacker's already far enough ahead of him to where, to the point where he won't get caught. So, if Sule might be able to catch up eventually, but I mean, obviously with the quick game, with the quick counterattacks, that 56 acceleration is going to be the reason why Sule doesn't get back. And again, with that agility and balance being so low, he won't turn quickly either. So low acceleration, low agility, low balance, it takes 5 years for him to actually turn around and then start running, and then it takes another 5 years for him to actually get going at top speed. So again, if the guy has a slow build-up, then he's okay, but obviously that's not the case in FIFA because it's more counter-attacking. So with that in mind, Sule is going to be one of the least favorite and worst defenders in FIFA 18 for me. Moving on to the midfield, We have three players who are pretty much the exact same. They're in here for the exact same reason. Dembele, Vidal, and Fabinho. Team season Fabinho. They just do not get back on defense. They have medium work rates. Not Vidal. Vidal actually has something called Vidal work rates, which I coined that term myself. And basically what that means is they have ultra high attacking work rates and ultra low defensive work rates. So even if I were to put Vidal at center mid or center defensive mid, he would want to go play striker. He would want to go make runs further past the strikers, and I would have him on stay back while attacking. I would have him stay on the edge of the box for crosses, but he would say, no, I'm going to go play striker, and he would go do that. And then if the goalie made a save or we lost the ball, he would not run back, even though he has high defensive work rates. And while Fabinho and Dembele weren't, as bad as Vidal in that case, they still were not getting back nearly as much. And I know they have medium work rates, but with Dembele being very good physically and having okay defending, I was a little disappointed with that. But, I was definitely more disappointed with Fabinho because his defending and physical are definitely the best things about him, right? That's obviously the best thing about him. But with the medium defensive work rates, he wouldn't run back. So I couldn't utilize that defending or physical, unfortunately. So it was just very, very frustrating to use Fabinho or Vidal or Dembele at center mids or defensive mids. Moving on to attackers with Dybala, Immobile, and Muller. Dybala, just probably the most disappointing player. His 3-star weak foot feels like a 1-star weak foot. And if I would actually try to shoot the ball on his left, it would only go in like 60% of the time. Whether it was a finesse, a 1v1, driven shot across goal, whatever, it'd only go in 60% of the time. When other players would have, no problem putting it away, he would have the biggest trouble with it, unfortunately. Along with that, his positioning wasn't very good, but honestly, it was just his shooting and his weak foot, right? You guys know I love a good 5-star weak foot, 4-star weak foot, and when players have anything less than that, it's not really going to be good enough for me. But with Dybala especially, that 3-star weak foot is the biggest lie in FIFA 18 because it definitely feels like a 1-star. And then finally, for the two strikers, Muller and Immobile, honestly for me, their positioning was okay, their shooting was good, but it was just their dribbling. It was their dribbling that was just bad for me, right? And it's because of their agility is actually decent, but it was just their balance and actual dribbling stats, right? 89 dribbling for both of them, and then 73 balance for Immobile, 85 for Muller, which isn't bad, but it's just their dribbling just was not that good. You guys know I really like quick, fast guys, so the fact that these guys have insane attacking positioning, great physical, great finishing, solid pace, good heading, and all of that stuff. The fact that you can't utilize it, at least I couldn't utilize it because of their bad dribbling, makes it, the most frustrating thing in the world. Because, again, they would be scoring goals, if it was like a low driven shot or something, they would be able to be in a good position, they would put it away. But I would rarely get to that position because of their poor dribbling, unfortunately. So now that the worst players have been talked about, we're finally going to moving on to the best players, my favorite players. And again, I had mentioned before that we do kind of have some honorable mentions on the bench, kind of per position, so we'll kind of talk about that. So first we can talk about the goalie, De Gea, and honestly that's kind of 1A for De Gea, 1B for Ter Stegen, 1C/1A for Farman, right? Because De Gea and Ter Stegen are pretty much the exact same, I shouldn't say the exact same, but they play at pretty much the exact same level, and if you want to go La Liga, you go Ter Stegen. If you want to go Premier League, you go De Gea. It's simple as that. And if you want to go cheap Bundesliga, then you go Farman. But De Gea and Ter Stegen are just on another level. Farman is obviously very, very good. It's his stats aren't as good as De Gea and Ter Stegen, which don't make him 1C or 1B or 1A. But with him having the save with feet trait or kick save with feet or whatever it is, whatever that trait is, that makes him better than 99% of the other goalkeepers in the game. So that's why he's in that honorable mention spot. So moving on then to the defense, we do have Inform Aurier, team season Vertonghen, Desailly, and Alexandro. For Aurier, I do really like him and Valencia. Again, it's kind of a 1A, 1B situation. The reason I do like Aurier, though, a little bit more, just slightly more than Valencia, is because of the jumping, right? Aurier has 96 jumping. He's 5'9". I think Valencia's 5'10". He's 5'11", but he only has 70 jumping. So that, in my opinion, that jumping does make a huge difference. Plus, along with that, if you go, let's say, Bai, then you can go Valencia, which is fine. But for me, again, Team of Season Vertonghen is one of my favorite center backs. I want to go with Aurier. I can't go with Valencia in that case. Aurier can still go with Bai or Vertonghen because of that Spurs connection there, and obviously the Ivory Coast connection with Bai. He has kind of that extra thing with that jumping, and then the fact that he can kind of link up with some of the more overpowered center backs in the Premier League, unlike Valencia, unfortunately. But again, if you go full Premier League, it's not a big deal. But again, for me, the fact that I can link up with Vertonghen makes it a lot better for me for Aurier. Plus, again, the jumping has him just a little bit better than Valencia. For the center backs, we do have Desailly and Vertonghen. The reason I really like Vertonghen is his pace is 75. There are definitely faster center backs with Varane and Umtiti with those World Cup winning cards. But his jumping and aggression are really what do it for me. His jumping and aggression feel like they're over 100. He's 6'2", feels like he's 6'3", 6'4", especially when he's in the air. He does not lose a header. He has not lost a header for me when he has played at center back. And with Desailly there, anything that Vertonghen happens to miss, which isn't a lot because he has 94 defending, Desailly is going to be there to clean it up. Desailly is probably the best defending center back out of anyone else in FIFA 18. He's better at defending than Vertonghen, which is saying a lot, but not by much. But I mean, just these two together is just a disgusting duo, honestly. And then the two center back spots again. I did mention Ramos. Ramos just, being very expensive, even less or more expensive than Desailly and Vertonghen. Obviously, the other two guys are going to be there. And then Bai is good. He's a good cheap option, but the other two are just better in my case, or in my opinion. And then finally, left back spot, Alexandro. I mean, he's the only card. His 86, his 87, right? They're the only cards that have been good from day one of FIFA all the way up to the end game of FIFA 18. So I was fortunate enough to not pack but play with his 86 card near the start of FIFA, and literally since then no other left back has even compared. No other left back has even come close. Like, I don't even have a honorable mention at left back because again, no other players come close. There have been decent left backs, like Danny Rose is actually decent because he has medium high work rates, but doesn't even come close to Alexandro. And for me, the fact that he's consistently great. He's not really that special. He doesn't do anything crazy, but he's consistently great. He has the great stats for a left back. He's very versatile. You can put him at defensive mid, and the fact that again he's been good since day one, that makes it so he's probably he is actually the best player in my opinion. Like, honest to God, he is probably my favorite player in all of FIFA 18. Moving on to the midfield now, and we do have Bakayoko, Goretzka, Saul, and Gabriel Jesus. Bakayoko, again, kind of similar to Alexandro in the fact that he's been pretty good since day one. This footy card obviously came out very recently, and his 82 kind of did drop off with team of season cards, with special cards coming out more and more near the end of FIFA. But he was still a solid option to go with if you wanted like a French defensive mid. In my opinion, he's better. His 82 gold card is better than Conte's 87-88 card, in my opinion. But I mean, once Conte started getting special cards, then I do think Conte's card was better. But with this footy card, I do think it's probably the best defensive mid in the game, in my opinion. Then with Goretzka and Saul at the two center mids. Goretzka, again, very similar to Sandro, and same thing for Saul, actually, very similar to Sandro. Goretzka did actually drop off near the end of the game pretty heavily, honestly, mainly because of the dribbling. But with him playing 264 games for me, I mean, he's a club legend, so I can't really, leave him out of the team. And then with Saul, he's definitely the Alexandro of the midfield. I did mention, Goretzka is pretty much like that, but Saul definitely takes that crown, in my opinion, of the Alexandro of the midfield. And the only reason that I don't really like him as much as Sandro is because I don't really like La Liga as much. Saul did not play in my teams as much as Alexandro, right? At the left back spot, it's easier to link people up just because there's only two links there, and you can put icons there, you can put Brazilians there. With Saul, there's obviously more links you have to deal with, and since he's from La Liga, at least for me personally, I wasn't a huge fan of La Liga. And with him being Spanish, in my opinion, that's not that great of a nation for FIFA in general. So again, like if I were to use him more and put players around him so he would be on full chem, then I do think he'd probably be my favorite player. But since that wasn't the case, that's still going to go to Alex Sandro. And then finally at center attacking mid is Gabriel Jesus, and he's pretty much just like Goretzka in the fact that he's a club legend. 293 games played, 274 goals, 226 assists. So I think that's literally 500 goal contributions in less than 300 games. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like I bought him when he was still 64k, and it was well worth every single coin that I spent on him. Again, he kind of did drop off just like Goretzka, but I mean, it doesn't matter. He is without a doubt a club legend and probably one of the better attackers of FIFA 18 and just in my FIFA history personally. And then if we go to some honorable mentions, Caligiuri at midfield, he can play defensive mid, he can play left mid, center attacking mid, right back, left back. If anyone has an injury, if anyone is low on stamina, if anyone needs to come off because they're not playing that well, Caligiuri will take him out and he'll go in and just perform well. Simple as that. He was probably the best midfield super sub that I could ask for. With Willian and Akalcha, Akalcha was just good in general, just at center attacking mid. 2 or 3 out of 10 games, he wouldn't be that great, but other than that, he would be unstoppable with insane dribbling and very good shooting. And then Willian, just very underrated in my opinion. I would always be kind of hesitant to use him, but then every time I used him in a game, he would always just do well. He was just consistently good. So very similar to Saul, very similar to Sandro in that fact that he was just consistently good. He would consistently put in a good game, and I honestly God don't remember like being upset with him. And then finally for the 2 strikers, we do have Team Season Batshuayi and second informed Lozano. Batshuayi is probably the best striker in terms of stats that I've seen, just because he's got great pace, he's got 99 jumping, 99 strength, insane dribbling, obviously insane shooting, and a 4-star weak foot. Literally the only thing missing from him is the fact that he doesn't have a 5-star weak foot. That's literally the only thing. He's even 6'1" and he has insane agility, balance, and dribbling. That's literally perfect for a striker, especially for me. And the fact that he's 6'1" and has that good agility and balance, that's literally perfect in my opinion. Now I didn't really find any other striker that was as good as him, so we do have Lozano, very good super sub in my opinion. I'm sure people are going to agree with me that he's a very good card. Over 127 goal contributions, 113 games, never started for me, never ever started for me. So that was all as a sub. So very good there. And looking at some honorable mentions, Bale's the exact same as Lozano, right? 111 games played, and he has 132 goal contributions. He did start occasionally, but probably only 11 or 12 matches. So probably, I would say probably he came on as a sub for 100 matches, for 100 games, and he still has a ridiculous, goal contribution ratio. And then finally for Royce, he is our last honorable mention card, and he's not as consistent as I would like. He's not as consistent as Sandro or Saul or even anyone else. He's actually pretty inconsistent. But the reason I have him here is that he is probably the most fun card that I've played with of all of FIFA 18. Like when he is on, when he is having a good game, he is without a doubt, like it's not even in question that he is the best player on the field. And it's not even close. He's better than Sandro, he's better than Jesus, better than Batshuayi, better than Lozano, Bale, Willian. Like literally, he's the best player on the field. But the only reason why I don't have him in the starting 11 as one of my favorite players is because, unfortunately, he is a little inconsistent. So that's probably going to be it for this video. Again, you guys should tell me who your favorite players and least favorite players are of FIFA 18. And again, like I said before, I'm probably going to go with Alex Sandro as my personal favorite player of FIFA 18. And what I've been doing for the last few FIFAs is buying a jersey of my favorite player from FIFA near the end of FIFA. So FIFA 15 I did it with Lacazette, FIFA 16 I did it with Eremenko, FIFA 17 I did it with Mbolo, and then this year I do think I am going to be doing it for Alex Sandro. So again, tell me who you guys' favorite players are, least favorite players are, and if you were to buy a jersey of someone, who would it be, stuff like that. So just leave that in the comments and I'll definitely respond to you guys. But like I said, that's going to be it for this video. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been DMG. Peace.